Hi guys, hope you're all well. I attempted to do this video last week, but my camera decided to pack up sort of towards the end nearly, so I've had to sort that out, and I thought I'd do another video. I was reading through my YouTube comments and this has got a lot of views, and it's been left on the shelf probably 15 months, probably longer than that. I can't remember the last time I run it because it's been like a sort of nightmare. Not the truck itself. You know, I went to town on this truck. I did a lot of work on it with the opening bonnet. Now this is, you probably see my P107, which is like the copy or the rip-off of the Tamiya one, which I've got here. This is original Tamiya High Lift, which I had electric for a long while and it just bored me to death, you know. So when the engine first started coming out, I mean, this could be an even older build because I built this just after my 6-wheel crawler, I believe, and the single cylinder P107, because that was like another 3-speed truck. But the good thing with the cheaper one was it had metal axles, but I'll explain why later on, you know, because the nitro fuel and the plastic on this model just don't go well together. Now, when I got this truck, I bought, this was kind of Toyon's, after their kind of single cylinder and a few other engines, they went to town on this one. This was the L200, was it FSL 200? 2-cylinder, twin carb, overhead cam, air cooled. I thought, wow, that's going to be superb, you know. And at that time, I think I was still doing a bit of work for Toyon, advertising their models. I mean, I actually do them now, like you see all my Toyon stuff and whatever. But I don't get a lot of recognition for it now. So I'm not fussed, you know. It's just to get it out there to you guys. But this engine never worked from day one. I just could not get it to work. I mean, there's been other guys out there who've actually got them running. I just had no luck. Right from the word go, it was only running 1 cylinder. It put oil out everywhere. It was just a mess, you know. I don't think I had it running. I think once or twice I managed to get it on 2 cylinders, but it was never right. It just poured oil out and fuel and God knows what else. You know, it was an absolutely terrible engine. I have read since that some people say they've got like a porous head, or they've got some kind of issue with the valve guides where they're sort of like got like a bronze insert, and that, whether that can move or anything. But I have done, you know, you won't believe how many times I've had this engine apart and tried to sort of fix it. I'll lap the valves in, I had to regrind the clearances because when you lap them in, they all closed up. I've had the carburetors apart so many times, timed it up all different ways and the right way and a different way and all that kind of thing. It's been apart absolutely so many times. I've checked the rings, I've checked the bearings, everything. You put it back together and what happens? Runs on 1 cylinder. If you leave the glow clip on, both of them, it'll run, but it's really sick. And it's oily and it's horrible. This is going to be just a doorstop or something because I can't put that back in there. It just don't deserve it. The work I did on the Hilux truck don't deserve it. I mean, if you look underneath this, I made like a scale type exhaust. I've made a silencer because it was kind of quite noisy. So there's a copper piece in there, and I copied the way a real silencer works with like resonator pipes. Drilled them, I think there's 1.5 mil holes all in them. So I've carried on this pipe which goes from, where are you? Right, we go from the manifolds here, from there, and that goes all the way down there, like a real car, scale car. That's my speed controller for the starter motor. Yeah, so this has just been sitting on my shelf, doing nothing. I've robbed bits off it. I believe the centre shaft, drive shaft, front one I've got on something else, I don't know, but I do tend to do that. I'll just take the body off and show you. So I was watching some of the old video clips, and also I've been on Sterling Kit, and I've noticed they're doing an engine that looks really, really similar, dimensions and size, like it would go straight, you know, straight into these engine mounts, because I would love to keep the exhausts, all that kind of thing, and there's so much work gone into this truck, you know, and I think I've had to make like every new part for it, all the plastic parts, you know. I mean, this was a brace that went across here. That was plastic because the fuel got on it and it just sort of crystallised and fell apart. What other parts have I got in here that I had to make? Oh, that's right. If you've had a Tamiya 3-speed, you know these are normally plastic, aren't they? And that's what does the steering. And I like to have steering the servo right at the back, but this, all the holes just fell to pieces, and every week just sitting on the shelf. The nitro fuel just, it's like the old Tamiyas, the boomerangs and things like that. Every time you picked them up, something fell off them. You know, that's trouble if you collect them, leave them on the shelf, they just fall apart. But this one, I'm sure, was the nitro fuel, so it made me make a lot of more little parts, which probably they're better. I've got 2 of these engine mountings, and they slide in the rails like that. So they slide in there, and they used to locate on the side of here, so you can, it's quite simple. You slide it in, bolt it up, and you can even just undo it and slide the whole engine out. It's quite simple. But anyway, let's go back to the engines. Yeah, I was looking on Sterling Kit, and they're doing a really good deal. I think Dennis Dempsey told me about it a little while ago. Oh wait, before we go into that, before I go into the engine that I just bought, this is an engine I've had for some time, which I thought might go in here. Now this is the NR200 Raphael engine, and I bought this on a bit of a whim because I thought it might fit in there, but there's just no way that that's going to go in there. I would have to sort of cut the rails away. I've tried a lot of ways to get that in there. And it's got to be water cooled, it takes up more room, and it's quite a powerful engine. So in a sort of solid axle truck, they don't handle the best anyway, so you don't want mega speed, which I believe this would be a powerhouse. So I must have had this engine over 2 years now, and I just cannot think of what to put it in. Every now and again I get it out and I think, oh, must be something, you know. I was looking at that, I think it's FS are doing a really good deal on that Jimny truck. I think it's 7th scale. I believe that is 7th scale. And I thought, you know, if I could just have a look at one and bin all the electrics in it, that might fit inside it. But again, it's a solid axle truck, got leaf springs, you know, blah, blah, blah. This needs to go in something really nice, and I just cannot. I mean, they tend to overheat, apparently. I don't know. I've changed all the screws to high tensile because I believe they break the big end bearing caps screws. Just because they're black, it don't mean they're high tensile. But I hope Sterling Kit realise this now and are replacing the screws, because they were terrible in there. They were just black, you know. It's lucky I didn't round their heads off. I think it's a 1.5 driver in there, and they don't fit at all well. So when you get the new high tensile ones, they're a beautiful fit, you know. You can just nip them up and they're not going to break. So I'm going to put this back in the box for another day and get on about the engine I've just bought to go in this truck. Okay guys, here it is, a Semto. Now, I did do an unboxing video of this in the last one when my camera died. So I can't do an unboxing when I've already unboxed it, if you know what I mean. So it is unboxed, and I'll show you what it's like inside, you know. Cracking deal from Sterling Kit on this. I don't think it was just for me. They had a St. Valentine's, like 40% off or something like that. And they got it out to me really quick. You know, it's really good stuff. But I've been trying to get in touch with Monica at Engine DIY I used to deal with, to say, like, maybe we can do a bit more work together, but I've got no reply. So we had our problems with the L400, which you all know about. and still kind of wasn't fixed. I just brought out a new engine, but there you go. So should we have a look inside this box? Now this is the manual, which is quite nice. It's normally a paper thing, and we've got like coloured pictures. I had a look through the other night. It's a self-build, but I mean, look, it's quite a nice, quite detailed. So we'll see. Anyway, let's have a look inside this box. Oh yeah, I mean, it's packaged nice. It's not like, I mean, Twin used to put them in like wooden boxes, didn't they? I mean, yeah, wooden boxes are nice and all that kind of thing. Let's just put this out of the way. But you're paying for that, you know. I just like the engine in a plain box, you know, that's the way you go. So what have we got here? These are all the screws. These are typical, the way Sterling Kit and Twin put the engines together. Yeah, simple enough. It's all in the instruction manual, step by step, easy peasy. Now, I've got 2 gaskets in here, which I'm a little bit surprised, but because these are quite expensive, you know. Ask Mary no, because I put so many on the L400, but if you've seen my last few videos of that running, you know how well that's going now, and it's my favourite sort of vehicle at the moment. But there's your gaskets, head gasket. Bloody hell, I even got a spanner and a couple of drivers. Well. Now, a lot of people won't know what that is, or if you build a Twin engine, you do. That's for pushing the pistons down. Once you put the rings on, it helps you push them into the bore. Now then, what have we got under here? Oh, they're nicely packed, you know, everything in there. I can't find the piston rings yet, but I've not really had a good look. So let's just try and get this out of here. Okay. Right, what we got there? We got the, looks like we've got camshafts on there, or the rockers, not camshaft, rockers. They did a red engine and silver, but I prefer, like in the truck, to do it silver. It's got black pulleys, it's quite nice. We've got the flywheel here. Aye. Now that feels a lot lighter than they've done before. That has got to be like an alley flywheel, I would believe. About time. I mean, they put these heavy, excuse me, they put these heavy flywheels. They look like they're mould still because they go rusty. I always normally make my own one, or make an early one, but that looks like, that feels very, very light compared to what I'm used to. We've got the one-way starter in there for the belt, lovely and crisp cut, you know, lovely detail, you know, absolutely nice. And what we've got here, we've got the crankcase here. We've got the crankcase, or the sump rather, and we've got, what's in there? Oh yeah, that's for the starter motor, so keep away. We've got the adjustment for the fan, we've got starter belt, and we've got fan belt. All little bits in there. Let's just take this sump out. Yes, nice, typical. And to be honest with you, it is a dead rip-off of the L400. So I'm hoping that this is going to go straight in. So with that, I think I'll get the truck back on the table and I'll show you why I bought this engine. Let's get this other bits out of the way. Okay. Alright. There we go. Okay. Now, this engine, this width, should hopefully slide in there, which it will. Once I put the spacers in there, the holes line up. It's exactly the same as the 200. As you can see, that's where the starter goes. Now if you see, look, it is a dead ringer, and that's what I wanted, because this engine, this Simco engine, I've heard good things about it. That it's reliable, it's powerful, easy to maintain, it don't leak gallons of oil everywhere. And that's why I wanted it, because it's going to fit in there exactly the same as my other one did, and I can use this manifold, these two manifolds here. So I'll have a nice scale looking exhaust, which you can see my twin pipes out the back there. Yeah, so I was really happy about that because I still wasn't sure whether that was going to be the same size, but it is. And if I just have a look at the, now this is the cylinder head. Thank God we've got the valves are in there, because on most of the builds you have to put the collets in yourself, and they're tiny little things, and I made up like a little compressor, but it's still, you know, it's very easy to send them into orbit. And believe it or not, I did actually ping one off into orbit, and I actually found it again. Now that's got to be, you know, 1 in a million chance of finding that, but I did find it again. But yeah, that looks all nice machining, lovely bit of casting, and I'm really pleased that the valves are in that. So we've got, what have we got in the bottom? Right. We've got the crankshaft. We've got the crankshaft in there. That should be held on 2 nice big meaty ball races, hopefully. But you know, looks okay. You've got the pistons in here. I'm hoping the rings are underneath them or something. And this is the carb. Now this looks a really nice carburetor. You know, on the other engine you had twin carburetors, and they're not that good. Very, very hard to adjust. And like on my L400 there is 4 of them, you know. And I've had the engine a long while with, you know, toils and tribulations with it, but I've got it working well now, and I have learned how to adjust the 4 carburetors of that engine. It took me a long while, but I've got there in the end, and they are so crucial on settings, you know. You know, you can go just a tiny little bit one way wrong or the other, it don't run. You've got to kind of hit on that sweet spot and keep it there as long as you can. And I find as the engine runs in, you have to kind of just adjust things a little bit more. And they use a vast amount of oil, the breather and stuff like that. You know, it really does pour the oil out. But, you know, this looks a lovely carb. It almost looks like a diaphragm carb, but it's not. But that's a nice bit of kit, look. Lovely. Twin needle. Look at that. Beautiful. So that might be an advantage. And something which I'm going to throw away straight away is this, which is what they call it, EG Start, a brush motor. You know, I've got, like, I think every motor that they sent now, after the first couple, had this motor on it. And they like turn your engine over once and you throw it away. And it's monstrous size. This is kind of cut away. The block is kind of cut away to fit that in the side like that. But, you know, it just takes up so much room. Now, if you look at, like, this is what Twin gave you. First of all, they gave you one of these motors. A very thin diameter motor. Got ideal power, it's reliable, and it's tiny. And it works like 100% all the time. Never ever let me down. The engine never run, but the starter motor, and that's done a lot, that starter motor, because of the engine not running properly. But why I suppose it's like a cheap brush, you know, why they do that, I don't know, in their kits. When a little brushless, you know, I mean, that's something out of the 1970s, you know, why would you put that? You know, there's all sparks on it when it turns over and all that kind of thing. And the one in the L400 turned it over once and that was the end of it, you know. So I'm not going to use that, you know. I was disappointed with that. But the price of the engine, I think I paid about £118 or something, shipped, you know, and it coming here with like 4 or 5 days, you know, fantastic. But I'm so pleased. I don't know what I've got this little noggin on the front here for, but we'll must be something to do with the starter. But I believe that's still going to clear the chassis. So it'd be so nice because this will go straight in. Well, I always say that, but sometimes things like that, they don't. But it looks to me, just a quick look over the engine. I mean, I've not sized it all up properly yet, but just a quick look over the engine. I think it's going to be a really good. And it'd be nice to get this up and running again because, you know, it was my sort of third time build, and I put so much into it. I mean, on the P107, the good thing about the P107, I know it's a cheap truck and a rip-off of Tamiya, it's got cast metal axles, which these are not. These are plastic. And the fuel's been on them, but they seem to have stood up quite well. It takes the paint off and anything you try and put on it. But the other bad thing with this is the springs. The springs are so weak. You know, can you see that there? Look. I mean, that's just running up and down the field. Don't know why, they just got no, you know, one bump and it bends the spring, and then you wonder why it's all leaning down one side. So it doesn't do it on a P107, so I might try and see if I can get some off of them, but I'll get the engine in this first and see how all that runs. Now, let's put this engine back in the box. I'll just put it on one side. Now, this has been an ongoing sort of situation with the engine and everything, and I've almost stripped it down and thought, oh, I'll put it back to, you know, electric or something like that. But you know, it just bores me to death. As I was saying, now this has got a full light kit in it. We've got reversing lights. We've got headlights. We've got side repeaters. Spotlights. It's got everything in it. I just connect up a battery. I've got another receiver, so I run on two receivers, one in the body and one in the truck, so you can take the body off and it's, you know, all enclosed. It's painted with two-part epoxy. There's a few cracks on it because it's had some, you know, it's not the best handling thing in the world. I never did get my tyre sticker for the back, but like I say, look at the wire. That took me. You know, there's one of them little light units that kind of work or don't work. You know, and the hinges gave me a lot of problem for the bonnet. And I did notice where it's been sitting on the shelf, there's a little crack coming across there. Can you see that? So I've got to be careful with that. But it needs a good clean up. You know, really, it needs to go in a bath or something. But I can't do it with all them wiring on there, so I'll have to try and think of some other way of giving it a good clean. So, like I was saying with the Tamiya, most of the plastic parts have melted away. Like this is I think I've had to make this out of oh no, this is original plastic one here, but I had to make all these parts again. I believe the servo's hanging out of this one. Where are we? Yeah, servo. So you can see that's cracked right through there. So the servos. So I've got to make two braces across there and put the servos in there. So there'll come a time when there isn't any plastic. I mean, the biggest thing and the most pain, you know, I thought I'd be clever and I fitted all the radio, and there's a lot in here. There's relays for the glow plugs, igniters, you know, so it does a igniter, the starter, all done by the relay. So there's a glow igniter in there, relay, receiver, about 10 million wires, cut down, made shorter. There's another ESC underneath, which actually runs the starter motor. That's a 40 amp in there. You know, these are the glow igniters. The ends never last 5 minutes. They always, you know, fall to bits, which is a pain, and wish someone designed a better type of glow plug clip of some sort. Now they're spring loaded, but when you put them on, when you've got the rubber on them, you just can't see what's going on, and you think they're on and they're not. So also on this truck, I changed these because they were broken as well, but these ones I made with a bit more caster on them, and also I jacked it up a little bit. So, you know, it's a lot stronger and it's given a little bit of caster, and it did actually change the handling. It made it better because, I don't know if you know, but with a, you know, a solid axle truck, when it, you know, under the suspension went up and down, it tends to move, you know, the steering left and right. it kind of walks, if you know what I mean. It's like a skateboard. You know when you lean on a skateboard, not that I have, but I know how they work. You lean on them and the axle twists and you turn right or you turn left, and, you know, according which way you lean. Now this is the same on a solid axle. So, you know, you try and keep it in a straight line and it's really difficult. I know some have made different kind of, you know, I could just do away this and make a 4-bar linkage and go with, you know, a set of shocks on there. But you've still got this, you know, the way this wheels go up and down, it just walks both ways. So the caster actually helped it no end. So putting these caster blocks in here, I machined them an angle of about 6 degrees. It changed it a hell of a lot. So that's the kind of state of play where we are with this one. Hopefully it's going to get a new lease of life with the Semco engine. I also sort of looked at putting, this is one of my favourite gearboxes for a build. It's absolutely bulletproof. You've got the 2-speed in there, you've got the reverse, and you've got the display. Right compact little unit, but again the rails are too short. There's no way I can get that in. With the other one, the chassis actually came down like that. So this fitted quite low in the chassis. It wasn't straight like this, it was like the true scale. You know, that's what gets me. It's a cheap copy, but it had a better chassis than this. And it came up and down, and you could fit the gearbox quite low down, and it worked out perfectly with that, you know. If I could have got another one of them trucks, which seemed to have disappeared off the market, I probably would have done, and I would have put this in it, because it was a better setup than I made. The setup that I made, because it was so high, I've had to make the 2-speed gearbox. So we had where are we? That's right. So it went round this way, so it would go in the front like that. So you'd have your clutch bell off your engine running on them 2 gears, which would then go back down to this quick shift gearbox, which is forward and reverse and neutral. So we've got this little gearbox here, so that would run on there, and that would lower this lot down. So this would go like right low, like that, and then you could have your 2 drive shafts coming down to your, you know, your rear wheels, and the back wheels coming off of this. And these are a great little unit. Like you saw my Giga Crusher, it's a huge thing. This is a real lighter thing, but it's ideal for these small sort of models. But this wouldn't handle the Giga Crusher power, I wouldn't believe. But it's a nice little, you know, forward and reverse, neutral in the middle. It's a great little thing. But, you know, it's all up in the air, so the truck's really top heavy. And it kind of wants to roll a little bit, but I'm still going to have another look at this. You know, I don't know whether I have had a quick go at trying to put it in, and it just doesn't look like it'll go in. But once I start back on this truck, maybe I can find, you know, some way of getting that in. I mean, it's like these shocks, you know, they cost me the earth, but the fuel's taken all the, you know, the writing off. What were they? Nitro Charger Sport. It cost me a fortune, because they were like a copy of a real scale shock, you know. But the fuel took all that off. Oh, I remember these, making these now. These are 2 little air filters I made. You know, never got to run them. I had a lot of little foam and gauze which went in the top there. But I made them offset so they'd fit in there okay. So hopefully, oh no, I've got a single carb now, haven't I? So yeah, I need one. Perfect. So that, we've got our fuel rail. There's 2, work really well. The time one is really small when it don't work very well. So that's where we are with this one, guys. My Giga Crusher is coming along really good. I've kind of got stuck into it. I think I've got a lot of new parts on it. Anthony at Coyote Spares has been really good. He's kind of, I bought a car off him and he supplied me with a lot of spare parts, you know, screws especially, because a lot of screws, as you know, they go rusty or they, you know, they don't look that nice. But it's kind of almost ready to be fired up. I've got the engines in there. It's piped up, blah blah blah. So I'm going to do another video on that because it's almost ready to go. I know I said I weren't going to polish the chassis, but whatever I did, I couldn't really make it look that nice, so I polished it. And I'm still not sure that was the right thing to do. I don't know. But anyway, she's almost back together again, and I'm going to do another video on that. I've got my little OTO Nitro bike, which I run the other week. I'm trying to get a video of that. I've got a problem with that where it keeps flooding when I try and start it, but I'll show you more on that in the next video. But as from now, I say bye guys, and hopefully you like the video, subscribe, whatever, and I'll see you the next one. See you later guys.